identify, Stephen's a great guy, co-chair of the Schey. As I went through and I asked students about their introductions, and then I went through and I did name my true freshman, and she said, I want to go into tech sales and be successful and everything. And I moved up to Avery, my junior, and asked him, he's like, well, I want to own a ski resort, but I know I'm going to have to do a lot of selling to get there. And so I asked Stephenson, I said, what's your goal? He's like, man, I just want to do big things. Right? And that's his life goal. But with that, Stephenson.
So the number one thing keeping people today from being successful is the fear of failure. We've all heard it 100 times. From the first time you fell off your bike as a kid, or dropped the ball playing catch in the yard, you were reassured that failure's not that bad of a thing. Your parents would tell you, it's alright, nobody gets it right the first time, or you'll get better at practice. We've all heard tons of stories about failure leading to greatness. Michael Jordan was cut from his JV basketball team and went on to be the greatest basketball player of all time. Walt Disney was fired from his job at the Kansas City Star for lacking creativity and imagination. He went on to build an empire based on the celebration of imagination. Steven Spielberg was repeatedly rejected from film school. Oprah Winfrey was publicly fired from her first job on television. J.K. Rowling experienced enough failure in her life that she was actually living off of welfare at the time the first Harry Potter book was published. My personal favorite is a story about a young man from Brooklyn named Sean Carter. Sean struggled for almost 10 years in the late 1980s and early 1990s to get a record label to take notice of him. Sean is now known worldwide as Jay-Z and is one of the most successful hip-hop artists and entrepreneurs in American history. Stories like this go on, and it's almost impossible to dissect the life of an incredibly successful person without finding a serious failure or setback. So why is it that the older we get, the more that we fear failure? As you get older, you conquer the majority of your fears. You conquer the fear of the dark, you conquer the fear of monsters, the fear of spiders. As you get older, you conquer the fear of public speaking, the fear of rejection from the opposite sex. Why is it that the fear that holds us back from what we want the most, the fear of failure, grows stronger? So I started to research this question by using one of the tools that I found the most useful, if not absolutely essential, to my academic life at Ohio University, thesaurus.com. I looked up the word failure on thesaurus.com, and these are some of the synonyms I found. Breakdown, loss, collapse, defeat, misstep, botch, bomb, flop, fiasco, wreck. My argument that failure was a positive thing was starting to get a little bit weaker. How can something associated with so many negative words be something that my mentors and coaches, role models have told me is something that I need in order to be successful? Any of these words are not things that I want to be associated with. How am I going to be able to stand up on the day of the sales symposium and make the argument that failure is something that we all need? Bear with me because I am still going to try to make that argument. So every person in this room is competitive. I know that because we're all leaders, we're all in sales. It's that competitive edge that drives us to be successful. It's that competitive edge that drives us to provide the best value for our customers and our clients. I'm also an incredibly competitive person. I've been an athlete my entire life. I've played sports. So I'm going to focus on one of these words that irks me the most when I look at this list, and that's the word loss. Unfortunately, being an athlete, loss is something that I've had to deal with. It's not something I like dealing with. It's something I hope I never have to deal with again. But it's a part of life. I was blessed in high school to play for one of the top football coaches in the country. And we didn't lose many games, but when we did, he would tell us this story. The story is about a construction worker, house builder named John that worked for Mr. Smith's construction company. Now, John was the best builder in the area for 30 years. He worked for 30 years for Mr. Smith's company. And at the end of this time, I'm sure some of you in this room have worked for about the same amount of time, 30 years. He's just tired. He's beaten down, he's broken, he goes, you know what? Mr. Smith has been a great time, I've appreciated working for you, but I'm going to retire. Mr. Smith looks at him and says, John, I understand, you've been great. I really appreciate it, but I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to build me one more house. John pushes back. He doesn't want to do it. He's tired, he's done, he's decided he's done. He says, no. Mr. Smith just keeps pushing him. Finally, he goes, you know what, fine, I'll build this last house. So John gets his crew together, they dig the hole, pour the foundation in. You know, if you've been in the basement of a house, foundation, solid concrete, you want a rock solid foundation. They pour it in for this last house, and there's cracks in it when it dries. Now, normally, John, being the best builder in the area, best respected, building these multi-million-dollar homes, he looks down at it, and we take the whole thing back up. This time he says, nah, back with it. He's like, just leave it. You know, that's going to set us back a couple of weeks. I want to get this one done. I want to wrap it up. I want to retire. So then John moves on to set up the frame. He looks at the boards that they've got lined up to set up the frame, and he looks down at them. You want hard, sturdy, straight boards. These ones are warped. Now, normally he'd go back to the lumberyard, get all new boards, he'd restart, he'd get all new boards to build the frame. This time, same thing. The heck with it. Let's just get this over with. I don't want the setback. I want to retire. I want to be done. So they put up the frame. They keep going. A couple weeks later, a month later, they're all done with the house. And John looks up at the roof. And the roof's done completely wrong. He realizes it's going to leak. Now, again, normally, John, being the best, well-respected builder in the area, would go back and tear up the whole roof. He'd start over. This time he says, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to retire. I'm going to go turn it in, and we're going to call it a career. So he goes back to Mr. Smith. He says, Mr. Smith, I'm done with your last house. I finished it. I'm going to retire. I'm going to go spend time with my family. As he starts to walk out, Mr. Smith stops him and says, hold up, John. He says, you have been my hardest worker for 30 years. I've appreciated every ounce of energy you've given me. I've really appreciated it. And for that, he pulls a key out of his pocket, tosses it to him. He says, this last house you built is for you and your family. So what's the first thing John thinks about, right? He thinks about that cracked foundation. He thinks about the warped frame. He thinks about the leaky roof. If he had just been diligent one more time, one last time, if he had just done the thing he'd been doing the rest of his career, he would have received a massive payday. So what was the point of Coach telling us this story after a loss? You know, this isn't the story about somebody that's experienced failure their entire lives and was able to overcome that. It's not a comeback kid story. This is a story about somebody that was diligent, did the right thing for 30 years, an entire career, let up one time and it came back to bite him. Honestly, the first time Coach told us this story, it just made me a little more depressed. But I was able to take a second, look at it, and I realized he told us this story because it's about the enemy of failure, persistence. Persistence is defined as the quality that allows someone to continue doing something or trying to do something, even though it is difficult or opposed by other people. I think we can all agree that failure is something that is difficult to deal with. So that means by this definition, that those who are persistent are able to not get knocked down by failure. They're able to push failure to the side. They're able to keep moving, keep building that house, even if they're tired and want to retire. They're able to keep doing the right thing because they trust that their payday is right around the corner. Do not let failure knock you down. Be persistent and you will be successful. So I'd like to wrap up by leaving the kind people at thesource.com with an alternate synonym for failure, and that's lesson. Lesson is simply defined as something learned through experience. People who consider their failures lessons instead of a loss or a defeat are more successful. I think every successful person, whether they do it consciously or subconsciously, considers their failures lessons. They're able to take that failure, learn something through that experience, continue to be persistent, keep coming back, and they're able to turn that into something positive. If you were able to turn your failures into lessons, your failures could be the most important thing in your life and your career. Your failures will make you successful. Thank you.
I want to thank all my presenters, everybody who competed for the TED Talk competition. I think you all see some incredible talent here, some amazing presentations. So if we could just give a round of applause. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a short break. We're going to be setting up for lunch at 12:30. So we're going to take a short